welcome to the Failcast, and I'm outnumbered by Americans this time. I'm Jack. This is Jesse.
Hello.
Fappy and Fizz the Toaster.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, we've got two Communicast members on this time, but it's still a Failcast.
No, we're taking over. We're taking this shit back, man.
I have a better hat than you, therefore you can't.
That's not true. I'm not wearing a hat.
Exactly.
Are you actually wearing a hat right now? It'd be really difficult with my headset.
Fizz, you've seen my hat.
Yeah, that pretty bitchin' hat.
It's pretty bitchin'.
That's not, no. So, Binsy, you need to come to the next expo.
Because you love me.
No, because I need to kill you.
Why?
I don't just, you know, it harkens back to the Revolutionary War.
Murder apathetically.
Historians would understand what I'm getting at.
Mm-hmm. You mean the war that you had to get the French to win for you?
What? I can't hear you over all the money we made and how we saved you from Hitler.
What, you mean the war that you joined towards the end when it became apparent that it was going to wind down?
Oh, no. It was the one where we dropped a giant bomb on the Japanese and showed everybody how cool we were.
You mean where you caused the biggest single, like, moral disaster, like, the most evil act in the history of mankind?
It was not the most evil act in the history of mankind.
You wiped out two cities with, like, the thing that can destroy the Earth.
It did cause an entire decade of anxiety in the entertainment industry.
It caused much more than a decade of anxiety.
Hey, you know what? Everybody else was working on it too. We just had all the Jews, so...
Yeah, but no one else... Well, no, technically we had all the Jews because they were asylum seeking with us.
At least Dr. Manhattan never happened, because then we'd all be fucked.
Yeah, because no one wants to look at a giant blue naked guy forever.
Dear God, no.
That'd be pretty
That's
bad.
why we watch Avatar.
So,
No.
video games.
Hey, what was that, Jesse? So, video games.
Yes, next topic.
So, video games. I recently, I've got Far Cry 3, and I'm greatly enjoying running people over because they've made the driving mechanics incredibly satisfying. Particularly when you run people over.
Can you still, like, get dysentery or whatever and do drugs? Or am I getting Far Cry mixed up with that one game where you, like, travel across the countryside and get dysentery and die?
Oregon Trail.
Oregon Trail.
God, I can't think of two games that I would like not compare as much as Oregon Trail and Far Cry 3.
I'm sure they had plenty of tigers, you know, in Oregon.
No.
What do you think? What do you think happened to all the buffalo? Tigers killed them.
You happened to the buffalo.
Shh! Shut up. We wouldn't have buffalo wings if it wasn't for us.
But buffalo aren't supposed to have wings.
Well, I know. We made it up, and now it exists that way. You can thank us.
You can just tell that the theme of this podcast is going to be societal tensions.
Oh, all of them.
Because you're horrible.
Let's get this out of the way. I hate tea.
So do I. I agree with you on that front. I hate tea.
We should just team up on Daystar and tell him he's stupid for liking tea.
Particularly Earl Grey.
Ugh.
The
My girlfriend likes that.
Blackness.
It's disgusting.
I know. I'd rather have a beer or a Coke.
So how's Far Cry 3?
Well, you can run people over and it's incredibly fun, and I found a picture that, well, you don't actually get to look at the picture, but the description of it is that there's a dwarf smiling at the camera and pointing, and he's not pointing with his finger.
Oh.
So, take what impressions you will from that. The shooting mechanics are quite good, and obviously the free roam element and the RPG thing is quite integrated quite well. And I'm interested to see Vars again whenever I do, because I haven't had a chance to play it past a couple of days.
Well, I guess I'll go next. I just finished fucking 120-something hours of Persona 3 last night.
I thought you were gonna say like I just finished. I thought you were gonna say I just finished fucking 120 bitches or something.
Well, I mean, there's that too, but
we're keeping that hush hush.
So nobody on here's played any of the Persona games, right?
No, but I have
Failcast.
Persona 4 on my shelf, so...
Oh, have you actually started it yet?
No, not yet.
Okay, you should. But, so, 3, I played, there's like multiple different versions of this game because Atlas likes re-releasing things and touching it up. And I played the PlayStation 2 FES version, which is like, I think it's the first enhanced version of the original game. And I played 4 one time through a couple months ago. That was my first Persona game. This is my second one. and going backwards that way, like I like 4 better definitely, but 3 was still awesome. I guess it's just the combat is a lot better in 4 because you can actually control all your party members, and it's not really, it's very similar combat, but you feel like you have more control, which also makes it so that the encounters and fights can be a little more complex. Whereas in 3, it's kind of like you're a one-man army and your party members kind of help, but are usually just stupid and hit themselves in the face. Let's put it this way: there's a mechanic.
What is it, Pokemon?
It's basically a rated M Pokemon, actually, to put it that way. But so the last boss is this mechanic where like it'll put up an aura, and if you attack it, it automatically counters and kills you, no matter how much damage it was going to hit for. And unless you tell your party members, unless you give them a command on your turn, and they can, the boss can put this thing up between your turn and your party members' turns. You can only give them commands on your turn, and if they have a command that says attack the enemy, they will, even after seeing it happen to them once, will kill themselves on the fucking aura. Because they're stupid and you can't change their command when it's not your turn. So...
When you said the last boss has a mechanic, whatever, because you paused a bit, I thought you said the last boss is a mechanic.
No,
and I was just wondering what that
the last boss is definitely
like,
not a mechanic.
where it's like, you know, you're talking to the mechanic and he's just trying to con you, and the more effective he is, the more life it takes off. Like, you know, so you know the spark plugs is used changing. You don't need to, but I thought I might do it while I was there. That's going to cost you 500 quid.
He's mostly there to rip you off on your life because, you know, it's there to kill you. But the story was incredible. Like in 4, it's more upbeat, and it's kind of like a mystery story. People have said it's like the Scooby-Doo of Japan, basically, the story. But 3 is very I wouldn't say emo, but it's definitely dark, and the ending was very sad, and I was depressed last night.
I saw your status, and it was like a cold shower didn't even fix it.
Pretty much. I actually literally took a cold shower. It helped a little bit, and it wasn't even a cold shower. I didn't even choose to have a cold shower. I just decided to take a shower, and the water wasn't getting hot, and I said, fuck it. So,
fair enough.
Yeah.
Jesse, you've been quiet. What have you got to say on gaming? Are you still waiting for the sheep release of Nintendogs?
Ha ha ha. Silly Englishman. I haven't told you a joke recently. So, someone was asking me recently, so you're Welsh and everything. I'm like, well, no, I'm American. But, he's like, so you keep in contact with your relatives in Wales? And I say, well, no. And there's a reason for that. There are 2 Welsh types. There are those in Wales, and those smart enough to emigrate. Yours, yeah. Anyway, I thought you might like that since you're an Englishman.
Yeah, but actual Wales has torchwood.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit?
Torchwood was awesome.
Anyway, I just finished playing the latest episode of Spartan Ops, which I had a good time with. And then a friend and I just got done playing co-op on Trine 2. And that was a really fun game. I don't know if you've played Trine 2 yet.
I have it, and I've played it once, and it was awesome. But for whatever reason, me and my friends just haven't started playing it again.
It does get cheap when you're both wizards and you just make boxes to float each other across the screen.
Wait, I thought you can only be like one person can be one class at a time.
Oh, you're right. What I meant to say was like if one person's a wizard, he makes a box. I just hop onto it. He floats me across, and then we switch.
It's got a very interesting design philosophy. I thought it was really refreshing. I just haven't really gotten back into it.
It's very colorful. Some points it gets a little too colorful.
Yeah.
But
it starts feeling like an LSD trip.
It's a really nice background though. I like how sometimes they incorporate the foreground into it, and
I liked how it had very good controller integration. We actually hooked up a bunch of 360 controllers to it, and it's a PC exclusive as far as I know. And when we were doing the intro level and it was showing what the keys were and everything, it actually brought a picture of a 360 controller up on the screen. I was like, oh wow, they really were prepared for this.
I played it on my Xbox.
Oh, so it is on 360 also.
Yeah, I got it off Xbox Live Arcade.
Was it ported later? I don't even know.
I got it this Christmas when they were having all the countdown to
Yeah.
the end of the year sales.
I got it during the Steam summer sale on PC.
Yeah, on the Xbox it works just fine, and it's a fun little game. It's short, but you don't regret getting it, especially since I got it on sale.
Yeah, I got it pretty cheap too. I think I got both games in a bundle for like $10 or something.
I think I got that at the same time I got Dust and Raw, which I just started playing Raw. It does feel like a bit of a Diablo clone, but it's a good one. But I'm only about an hour into it.
You mentioned the Spartan Ops. I've played some Halo 4. I don't own it, but like I'm an old Halo fan, and I've just kind of like stopped. I just am not really that interested with the franchise anymore. But
yeah, I kind of have the same thing.
yeah, I think a lot of people are. But the Spartan Ops thing sounded really interesting, and I haven't tried it yet. But when it was explained to me, it sounded like exactly what I wished Mass Effect multiplayer was.
Yeah,
I know what you mean.
and it is. It's basically firefight, but prolonged. It's missions.
Yeah, like the thing that I was bored with Mass Effect 3 multiplayer and even like normal Halo firefight, which I think started in what, ODST or something, was that it's the wave-based combat, which can be fun, but if that's like your go-to mode, which obviously Halo had normal multiplayer, so it didn't have that to worry about, but Mass Effect did, because it was the only multiplayer mode, that gets stale pretty fast, and like I never understood why they couldn't just do like a Spartan Ops type thing where there's a little mini story in it and you're not running around in the same box the whole time. You're going from point A to point B, and then the mission ends when you get to point B and do whatever over there.
Well, maybe because obviously, you know, the release a story in increments, and eventually people tend to be quite compulsive multiplayer players. And maybe that story will get quite stale after a while if you're like, yeah, I've watched this part, I just want to get on to the next part, but it's not been released yet, kind of thing.
Oh, well, you
At
know,
least
that's how people kept playing WoW and they were doing the same raid dungeons every week for years.
Yeah, but there isn't really a story to the raid dungeons, is there?
Well, usually there is, but nobody gives a shit about it.
Fair enough.
It's like,
With
can we
the
skip this
episodes,
dialogue,
though,
please?
The episodes on Spartan Ops, the first few were very repetitive because they kept using the same maps over and over. Then they took a mid-season break, and now they're using whole new maps, and I think they got more of the team behind it, so you're getting more maps,
cool.
more story, and what I love is that at the beginning of every week, you get a full cutscene, a full cinematic intro, and it's not cheaply done. It's pretty good quality, and you get one each week.
I think the main thing that I didn't like about 4, that, well, I played some of the story and I just stopped halfway through because I was bored. But I don't like the Spartan designs at all. They look like Crisis characters mixed with like a lot of it is the shoulder area. It just looks like Crisis to me, you know? It's like too exposed.
They've butchered the helmets a bit, personally, from what I've seen.
The what?
There's some really weird helmet designs. I'm not really
Dude, there's some like
on.
Evangelion helmets in there. I swear one of them looks like Eva.
I just stick with an ODST outfit.
Yeah.
What's your favorite Halo game?
Mine? Oh, whose?
Either both.
Of the regular series, I do like Halo 3, but I'm still an ODST fan.
Oh, ODST is incredibly good.
I think
My favorite Halo game, though, probably would possibly just because of the nostalgic memories, is Halo 2. The campaign for that was incredible.
I think.
Well, I think sorry.
Single player wise, the first game is going to be my favorite, hands down. But nostalgia wise, multiplayer, Halo 2 takes the cake because everybody at my high school was playing Halo 2 multiplayer all the time. Like, that was the multiplayer game in my area for, 2 or 3 years. We'd have Halo parties all the time and everything, and it was before. I think it was great before people started hacking the shit out of it.
Yeah.
And people became obsessed with like super jumping and all that other garbage. But there were some hilarious bugs in that multiplayer that we exploited all the time just for fun. It didn't really give you an advantage, but.
Well, while I had Halo 2, because I didn't have Xbox Live on the original Xbox.
Yeah.
But what I did do, what I had was Halo Combat Evolved on the PC. So I'd be playing that, and
Yeah,
I'd
people
have,
hacked the
like,
shit out of
massive
that,
LAN
didn't they?
matches with groups of friends and stuff, and then I'd obviously have regular matches, and that was always incredibly fun, just because I don't know, I just have really nostalgic memories of that, like leading attacks across Battle Creek and whatever.
Yeah, well, the only thing I remember of playing some Halo PC was that every match had a flying warthog in it, and I was like, what the fuck's going on?
No, I actually had like zero interaction with people who hacked that game. It was surprising, actually.
That is pretty surprising.
I've told Jack before, but I don't think I've told anyone else is that
He
when
trusts me, you see.
well, you were here last time. But I started off owning an NES and Super NES when I was younger, and then I switched to computers. And I really never touched a console beyond the 64. I never even saw a GameCube, really. I graduated high school, moved in with a friend, or graduated college, sorry, moved in with a friend, and he had an Xbox 360 with Halo 2 on it. So the last console game I played was like 007, GoldenEye, Perfect Dark. And then suddenly I'm playing Halo 2. And
That's kind of a weird
I'm staring at
transition.
the screen going, wow.
Well, you know, to be completely honest, like, I'd say most console gamers, because I was one for, like, I still play consoles all the time, but I am also a PC gamer now. But, like, I want to say most console gamers did go from GoldenEye, Perfect Dark, straight into a Halo Combat Evolved. Like, it's pretty much, like, I would say a lot of people transition that way, and it was pretty jarring how different it was. And then obviously,
Yeah.
2 is another step.
I mean,
Well,
the
for
graphics
me,
were
it
so
was,
much better. And then
Yeah.
the fact you could jump and
Well, Halo is it's a very jumpy shooter.
yeah.
One thing I appreciate about a Halo that you never really see in other games is that when you look down, you can see your friggin' legs.
Yeah, I hate the floating camera thing.
I know. With me, my console progression was that when I was about 3 or 4, I was playing Sonic on the original Sega,
Yeah.
and then my family got a PS1, and I became obsessed with Crash Bandicoot, which was awesome.
But I have to ask really quick, did you play Sonic 3 when you were a kid?
I played it retrospectively, unfortunately, but it was good.
Because I was going to say, most kids who played Sonic 3 always got stuck on the 4th level until they were older and figured it out.
Mind you, my favourite Sonic game of yore was probably Sonic CD.
I liked Sonic CD, but Sonic 3 and Knuckles will always be my favorite.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
But-
just, it's
So
like definitely...
Carry on. From there, I went to, original Xbox and PlayStation. Well, it's PlayStation 2, then GameCube, then original Xbox. And that was awesome. I think the GameCube's been really underrated as a games console.
Oh yeah, definitely. I never actually owned one, but I played it a lot at people's houses and stuff.
I played my friends and then I got one. And, the Pokemon games and that were brilliant. Like, the Colosseum games and the Mario Party and all that stuff.
Hmm
Super Mario Sunshine was a brilliant game.
I've played it
did-
like once.
I did go out and buy a GameCube from Amazon for about $15.
Nice.
That's a pretty good deal. I got one of the newer PS2s. I ended up getting that and like 2 games for like $70 or something at a store, which is a pretty good deal. It came with like a memory card and some other stuff. I think I got Shadow of the Colossus, which I still have yet to play, and GTA 3.
Apparently that's like an incredible game, but I haven't had a chance to play it.
I
It's
think
a
I
very
played
good
it.
game. I like that game.
Yeah,
Do you want to tell
I
us a
hear
bit
it's
about
great.
it, since you've not said anything in about 10 minutes?
Well, you people are talking about Halo, and I don't like Halo, so
Ooh, dangerous turf.
I don't care. I will say I played Halo 1 and I didn't care for it. So, Shadow of the Colossus I enjoyed. That was probably one of the... I bought PS2 late. So it's probably one of the few games that I bought when I finally got a PS2. And I love the hell out of it. Although I will say, like, the graphics and how, like, some of the Colossi move were kind of crappy. It was, like, stretched at... Like, it was using all the capacity that the PS2 could use, but I enjoyed that game. It's probably one of my favorite PS2 games.
Of the games I know you played, I've got, we know Silent Hill, and we know Shadow of the Colossus. So I'm building up like an image of you as a fairly pro-Japanese gamer.
Oh, hell no.
Alright, then you have to fix that a little bit. What are some of the games that you enjoy?
Well, here's the thing. Well, I just love Silent Hill because I'm a huge horror fan, and that was my very first horror game. So that's nostalgia talking. But like, when you're talking about growing up on consoles, I grew up with like an NES, an SNES. I had an N64, but I really didn't play that one all that often. But I did a transition to PC the minute I found Diablo, and I just fell in that hole for a long time. So I played like Diablo, Diablo 2, some PC games that were like weird, and some of them weren't even that good. Like I remember one was called Sanitarium. It was weird. It's a weird little game. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it.
It sounds really strange. What was it?
From what I remember, you played as a patient at this hospital, and you would go into, I think, the dream world, and the dream world was weird, and there was like a lot of dark humor, and it was just dark themed. And
I'm intrigued.
And I think you had to find who was trying to kill you. I really don't remember much of the game.
I really want to play this game now.
If you can find it, good luck, because it's not very well known. Like, every time there's a thread that says, have you ever played a game that no one's heard of, and that's my game. I think I ran into maybe
the
two
game that no
people.
one else has heard of, and I did do a review of it, but because it's so unknown, it didn't get very many hits, is Tobal.
Was what?
I don't think I saw that review.
I fucking love Tobal, it's amazing.
I have a couple older like Super Nintendo games and NES games that nobody's ever heard of that suck ass. So I never want to talk about them.
Well, the early NES games totally sucked, because I played some that were just like I remember when we go to the video store and you would just rent them, and you didn't even know if they were even that good or not, and you just played them, and then you played it for like 10 minutes and you put them away because they suck so bad.
Oh, some of the worst shuffleware was in the 16-bit era, where basically you'd have these companies, you know, that some brands like 7-Up and Cheetos and shit would be like,
yeah, wasn't there one like a 7-Up spot?
Yeah, there's that game, there's the Chester Cheetah game, I have that one, it sucks ass. They basically just plaster these characters onto like Mario-esque platformer clones, and they're just so bad.
Have you played
stupid.
Have you played the Mask game?
The Mask? Like,
yeah, the Mask.
Based off the movie The Mask?
Yeah.
I didn't even know there was one.
Oh, there was one, and that game totally sucked. I couldn't. I rented it. I remember I rented it from like this huge video store that's still around, and I was like, "Oh, The Mask! I love The Mask!" And I took it home, and I couldn't. It was so bad. Like,
you didn't buy the E.T. game.
No.
Oh yeah, the E.T. game's fucking atrocious.
The one that supposedly all the copies got dumped into a landfill.
I can't wait for the Angry Video Game Nerd movie. Is like the part of the plot is based on that.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun.
Mind you, I remember when I was a kid and, you know, be watching TV with my family, and, you know, like a really little kid, and, yeah, I'd see adverts for Nintendo 64 games. And one thing that really struck me, because obviously I've gone back and played Nintendo 64 games through various means, is that, you know, the rotating 3D, like, cube made out of N that was the logo for the Nintendo 64.
When I see it...
There's a lot worse graphics than I remember it being as a kid.
Oh, I know.
When I see it, I always think of the speeding up sound from Mario Kart.
Oh, yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah. I remember the first time I played Mario 64, I could not get him to go in a straight line. I was so bad at the game. I think I had him die on accident, like when you're outside and you try to go in the castle and it's surrounded by water, and he fell in the water and I accidentally drowned him.
Wow.
Yeah, you brought that up on the other podcast that we had you on.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
About traumatic gaming experiences. I brought up like the really drawn out experience of a Chow dying in Sonic Adventure 2. And
to be fair, that's pretty easy to do.
The thing is, I didn't lose any Chow for ages, so when I finally lost one, it was like...
Well, they would die of old age eventually.
No, but like, they can come back.
Yeah, that's right. Well, in Mario 64, for some reason as a kid, I was stuck at like 117 stars for like years. I had like a guidebook and everything, and for some reason could not get these last 3 stars. And then my friend borrowed it in college and accidentally pawned it off, and then bought me a new copy of the game.
Oh.
So I had to start from scratch, and I sat down one day. I think I was hanging out with my current girlfriend. I don't quite remember. I said something along the lines of like, hey, fuck this shit. I'm going to beat this game. I've never gotten all 120 stars as a kid before, but I'm going to do it. Sat down, spent a couple hours playing it. Didn't really have a problem with any of them. Got 120, met Yoshi, and I was like, oh, that wasn't worth all that time.
I will say, one of my favorite memories from the N64 was I remember me and my brother, we were playing Mario 64, and there was this guy. We called him the Bug Man, but he was from like the Bug Exterminator. He would come to our house like once a month or whatever.
Yeah.
And for the longest time, we couldn't get the red cap. Like, we didn't know what we were doing. And this guy, I guess he was like a huge gamer, and he was like, hey, you know, if you go in the middle of the room where the light is and you look up, you can get the red cap. And we were like, what? Like, he would, like, every time he came to our house, like, he would always have like a cheat or a trick for us to do, and so it was totally awesome, and we were super bummed when we found out he quit his job.
Aww.
You know, I mentioned that game Tobal earlier.
Yeah.
We got that game because this guy that worked under my dad when we were kids, like, lent us a box that had 2 PS1 games in. One was called Porsche Challenge, which is a racing game, which was a bit strange. And the other one was Tobal. He never got those games back.
Oh. Yeah, a lot of that was a neat trick you can pull as a kid, is borrowing something indefinitely.
What was it? My other favorite game, I don't know if you guys played it, was Turok, the first one.
Yeah, I have. It was fun.
I love that game. I'm sad I don't have it anymore. The second one kind of sucks, but I love the first Turok. It was probably one of my favorite. Actually, it was the only shooter that I played heavily when I was like growing up, because I wasn't really a shooter fan. I was mainly like into RPGs and like weird quirky games, and so that was the only one that I sat down for like hours and played.
See, I wish I'd been exposed to more shooters as a kid, because growing up my main gaming thing was like stuff like Crash Bandicoot and Sonic and stuff that was like, you know, platformers and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So when I finally got into like a wider variety of games, I was like, wait, what? What is this?
What are these things?
Yeah, well, my movement from like, you know, the PS1 Nintendo 64 era and to like the PS2 and GameCube era was when I brought a friend home, and I was like, oh, you got to play this fighting game, referring to Tobal, and I showed it him, promptly kicked his ass at it, because obviously I've been playing it for years at this point, and he was like, oh, I don't like this game, I've got something better to show you. Go to his house a couple of days later, go on a GameCube and shows me Super Smash Bros. Melee, and that was incredible.
I remember the first Smash Brothers. It was, what was it, just called Super Smash Brothers?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I played the fuck out of it.
I loved that. I loved that one. I didn't really care so much for the second one, but I remember my brother refused to play with me anymore because I used to kick his ass at that game.
My sister, throughout all 3 Super Smash Brothers, has always played Kirby, and has always spammed the fucking rock attack in every iteration of the game. And then when it got to Brawl, she mixed it up. She also now spams the aerial hammer swing attack, which can KO you at really low or really not very, you know, damaged health. So, yeah, fuck
When
that.
it comes to Brawl, I am ridiculously good with Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh, really? You are too? Dude, I'm the only person I know who's good at Sonic.
I know it. Because he's a really, like...
He's really
I
hard
know
to
all
play.
his moves are kind of similar, but they are different, and you can use that to sort of like chain them in really interesting ways, I've found.
Oh, yeah.
So I can just like kick the shit out of anyone using Sonic.
I like
Brilliant.
demoralizing my opponent by, I used to
You're
play a
too
lot.
slow!
Yeah, oh, yeah, that. But I used to play a lot when it first came out, and God, that was ages ago now. But we'd play on like platforms a lot, because that was a pretty balanced standard map. Because a lot of the maps in that game just had shit flying around constantly, and it was really annoying. But we'd play on platforms a lot, and I would always do a backflip off of the stage, and then do a spin dash under the stage and come back up onto the other side.
Oh.
And they'd be like, what the fuck just happened?
To reference Nintendo's awful multiplayer, we should We should exchange Wii friend codes and we can have a battle of the Sonics.
Oh,
Oh,
Jesus
God.
Christ. Dude, the lag will be terrible. It'll be unplayable. Not only is it the Wii's network, but you're in England.
Yeah. Well, we can still try it.
Oh man, have you ever tried to play like actually good online fighting games with people from other countries? It's bad even with good infrastructure.
Oh, I've never really had much experience with fighting games.
No, I play a lot of, or I did, but I'm pretty on or off with fighting games. Like I'll get into it for like a month or two and then I'll put it down for a really long time. But I used to play BlazBlue a lot, and even in that game, which has pretty good, you know, netcode, it still got really laggy when you played from people from far away. And oh man, it would get really bad to the point where like when you're playing a fighting game like that, a 2D fighting game that is based on, you know, pitch perfect like combo inputs and stuff like that. If there's even a, you know, fraction of a second of lag, you're gonna fuck your shit up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mind you, an interesting note on that fact is that I was talking to Daystar, and apparently at some point during his like unemployment phase, he was in the top 10% of Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 players.
Does that take into account everybody who's ever played, or is it only
Like it was on
who've...
like the international leaderboards and shit apparently.
Well, I don't know if anybody remembers this game, but I played a Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z, I think it was the first burst limit or something. I got it when it first came out and played Piccolo exclusively because he was my favorite character. And I was for a week. The first week the game was out, I was number like 20 or 25 in the U.S.
Fair enough.
And then I stopped playing. Like when I got to that point, I was like, all right, I'm done. This game got boring really fast.
Me and this friend of mine that I grew up with, who's like a few years older than me, we were both massive Dragon Ball Z fans. So when we got like the Budokai and the Budokai Tenkaichi games,
Dude,
those
I love
were
those
amazing.
games. Oh man, they're so bad, but they're so good at the same time.
And he was also the friend that is the reason why I'm obsessed with Halo 2, because basically his family and my family used to be really good friends, and they'd like come over from Switzerland because they moved to Switzerland at some point.
Yeah.
So they come over for and stay in our house for like 2 weeks, and so him and me would just play through the Halo 2 campaign and again, and then our families had this massive falling out. And then so that's why I like Halo 2 a lot.
The only fighting game that I play a lot is Mortal Kombat. That was like my first fighting game, and I
have played the Xbox 360 version of Mortal Kombat once, and that was during a let's get shit faced and play Mortal Kombat kind of thing.
Mortal Kombat is a really good fighter to pick up and play with no experience.
What, Mortal Kombat?
I did not have that experience. I got my ass handed to me by my friend Dale over and over again.
Well, I remember playing that game like when arcades were a thing, and so I remember playing that with my dad, and the sequels were kind of shitty, but the new one or new-ish, that's like 2 years old now, I think. That one's actually pretty good. And I remember at the expo, they had Mortal Kombat, and I don't know where you went, Fappy. I think you went back to your room, and I was like, well, I have nothing to do, so I'm just going to go play Mortal Kombat for a solid hour. But what was really funny, do you remember that weird guy?
The guy who was following you around?
Yeah.
Was it DVS?
No. Oh, God, no. So here's what happened. So there's this guy, and me, him, and two other people, we went to dinner, and then we went to go to Movie Bob's movie where he was going to make fun of Flash Gordon. And so, I kind of made the comment of, I'll be walking around tomorrow with an Okami plushie, basically Daystar. And so he found me the next day, and I was looking for the Mortal Kombat area. And this dude is fucking annoying, and he would just say the most random shit, and he was just so fucking whiny. And I said, oh, hey, I'm gonna go play some Mortal Kombat. And he was like, oh, okay. And he sat down right next to me, and I'm playing Scorpion, and I play him all the time. And he would just say the most random, annoying comments throughout the whole match. And so, progressively throughout each match, Scorpion would get more violent because I would be like practically button mashing and like trying to remember all like all of his moves, and I would get so pissed. And I finally ditched him, and I was so happy. It was so annoying.
To be fair, I don't know many people who would take their stalker to dinner.
Oh, I know, right?
No, he just followed. He just followed me and these like 3 other guys. We're like, hey, we're gonna go to this place for dinner, and he just attached himself to our group.
I went to school with a guy like that for 5 years, but specifically more than anyone else, I was the one that he followed. It was quite strange.
Oh. Sorry.
No, but it was weird because he stole all of my jokes.
He stole your jokes.
He did.
Like you would tell him, and then he'd go and tell him to someone else.
Yeah, like because in a lot of classes, mainly because he would sit down next to me, he would be the person that was like sat next to me, obviously. So I'd think of something, and so he'd be the only person I could like whisper it to, say, I'd tell him this joke, and then he'd pass it down the line or something. It was really weird. But yeah, he's a strange person. I know exactly what you mean when people follow you around. It's just like
creepers.
I physically ran away from this guy once, and he still didn't get the message.
I think I ditched this guy. Like I think I found Fappy, and he was just standing around talking, and it was really packed on Saturday, and I just lost him in a crowd. I purposely lost him, and I was so happy.
I remember that.
Oh yeah, because I said, hey, I'm gonna stand on this side really awkwardly, so don't worry about it.
What?
When I finally ran up to Fappy, I was standing in a really weird spot, and I told him, don't worry about it, I'll move in a second. The guy finally walked away. He walked right past us. It was perfect.
Really? Actually, I have a friend who called Scout who lives in Carolina, and she went to I don't know, some anime convention, and there was a guy who was dressed as the Red Spy from Team Fortress 2 who was following her around for like the entire thing, trying to get her phone number.
Oh God. Actually, speaking of spies in a convention, so they have Dragon Con every year in Atlanta, and this is basically a giant costume party, and I'm pretty sure, I think it's the biggest nerd convention in the Southeast, but I could be wrong in that. But
yeah,
anyway,
you mention it.
So this last time we went, this last year, there was a guy who was dressed as a cross between Solid Snake and Batman, and he was fucking hilarious. Like he was like running around like hiding and like just spying on people until they noticed him, and then he'd be like, I've been compromised, and like roll away somewhere, and like it was fucking awesome. But we decided that like
I'm the military agent Gotham deserves.
yeah, some of the best costumes are the costumes that you can like kind of roleplay in a crowd setting. And like one good one we came up with, but we've never seen before, is it would be awesome if you had like a group of traveling monk type people, and then you just had like Altair or somebody like go in the middle of them and like pretend he's praying with them and stuff like that.
Oh, that would be awesome.
We decided that when we were old men, me and my friends, if they still had Dragon Con in like 50 years, we'd go as the Greybeards.
Oh, that's brilliant. I don't have much experience with conventions, but if I did go to a convention, I have had some ideas about who I cosplay as. With my new hat, I could probably do a fairly bitchin' John Marsden cosplay. But then it's also occurred to me that because I've put on a bit more muscle lately, if I spiked my hair up, got a short sleeve trench coat, I could go as Senji Kiyomasa from Dead Man Wonderland.
Is that the guy in your avatar?
Yeah, the guy in my avatar.
Okay. Yeah, there are a couple characters that I could do and that I've been asked and told to do, but I just haven't gotten around. Like, I've done moderate cosplay once at Dragon Con, but it was nothing noteworthy at all, so it's definitely a time and money investment to like actually get it together and everything, if you're going to do anything even remotely significant.
I'm not going to cosplay at the Escapist Expo because, I'm saving up for that convention as it is. So
yeah. Well, it is possible that we might be doing something for the Escapist. If we do something for Dragon Con, we'll do the exact same thing for the Escapist, more than likely, because
there was quite a few people cosplaying at the Escapist too.
Yeah,
I saw the pictures.
There was a decent amount.
That's how depressing it is.
Yeah. But
I really wish I'd gone. Well, I couldn't have gone, but I wish I had.
I think the next expo is in October this year.
Yeah, they said it was in October.
This October?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, this October.
Wait, no. Okay, that's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I'll be on my gap year at that stage. Okay.
Because you'll be in the United States at that time, right?
Me, yeah. Ideally.
Yeah, that's right. You're going to be going around to different places. Where are all the places you're going? Exactly,
well,
do you know?
There's been a bit of a change of plans with my gap year because I'm going to be spending 3 months. My 3 months in America will be spent doing this volunteer thing.
Yeah.
It's like wildlife protection and stuff, and there are different times and different places I can do it with. So when I actually get around to arranging it, I'm probably going to angle it as close to Carolina, or if not in Carolina, if there's the option. And if possible, I might be able to do that and then just stay a couple of extra weeks and then just be able to go to the expo.
Yeah.
So that will be my thing, ideally. If not, then I guess if I can save up enough money, I'll come back for a couple of weeks or something.
Sounds
I must
fun.
figure this out.
I'm not looking forward to the drive again. Ugh.
Yeah.
It was brutal last time.
Well, I'm gonna try and I'll probably try and book a hotel in Durham, just for that couple of weeks and just stay.
Oh yeah, we're probably gonna, if assuming they use the same hotel, we're gonna stay there again because that was really convenient, being able to.
I couldn't get into that one for whatever reason.
We literally got the last room or something like that.
You probably beat me out. Well, there was a lot of stuff going on in that weekend, anyways. So.
Well, we actually remember we didn't come the night before it started, and a lot of people did, so the only reason why we got into the hotel was because we weren't staying that first night.
Oh, okay.
So we were able to get in that way, which is why we were late on the first day of the event. But this next expo, ideally, I'm going to take a day or two off from work and go volunteer, so I'll go early. So I'm pretty sure that's the plan right now. I should have plenty of vacation days by that point. So
with this thing that I'm doing in America, the basic package is £850, and I think that would obviously include plane tickets because that would be mainly I think what it would go towards.
Okay.
So I think that should be. I mean, that
doesn't actually sound that bad, honestly.
Who does have experience with it? So
usually,
I hope it's got.
Usually it costs that much just for the flight alone.
Well, dollars are different to pounds, and it's about, depending on how early you book, you can get a plane ticket for £200. I don't know, but
international flights
are just ridiculous. And then they tell you to bring a few hundred more quid. So, I will want to bring all in all £1,500.
Yeah.
So then I have a few hundred to spend on food and whatever.
What is that, $2,000 in real money?
I think you'll find we predate you.
Whatever.
Anyway,
watch any movie and you see Benjamins, buddy. Benjamins. What? Oh yeah.
Sorry, your audio was cutting out. What did you say?
I said sweet Benjamins. That's what they deal with in Breaking Bad. The show you model your life after.
I think I saw a webcomic about two gangsters or something, and it was they were smuggling something into England, and it was I don't know if we should go through this with this. It's hey, you want those Benjamins, right? And it's what, it's not Benjamins though, is it? What do you mean? Well, because we're going to England. All right, then what would it be? Would it be Elizabeth's? Well, you want those Elizabeths, right? Yeah. So put these drugs up your ass.
Oh God. Elizabeth's does not roll off the tongue like Benjamins do.
No.
No, it doesn't.
No, they don't.
No.
Not at all.
No.
So I think Binsy, at some point in this discussion, I don't know how long it's supposed to be, but at some point we need to talk about this RP going on.
Oh, the hell frozen over thing.
Yeah, the pit.
Yeah, but that it'll be a discussion that devolves into 20 minutes or so. And then that'll just be us talking.
We can be very general, or we just talk about role playing.
No, but it's not
general.
that. I'm just thinking that you'll have Fizz and Jesse just being I don't even know what the fuck's going on here.
Yeah. Well, basically, just a very brief premise for them is that me and Ninja Death Slap, which I'm sure you know Fizz. He's in
Yeah.
He's in the Brovengers, but we're running this post-apocalyptic, horrible setting, everybody should die kind of story.
And I'm one of the players.
Yeah, Binnsy's one of the players, and basically the premise is it's post-apocalyptic under the Siberian ice prison that is run by basically an evil corporation that's using prisoners to mine like resources and shit. And essentially,
of course, no mining at all has gone on during the course of the RP.
I know, it's only been alluded to. I'm like, am I RPing the only character who mines?
Yeah, I was just thinking though, given how little control the guards seem to have over the prisoners, it's like it's voluntary whether they enlist for mining or not.
Well, I mean, the whole concept is like the gangs have these, deals with the wardens essentially, right? So that it's assumed or implied that they have to make certain quotas or whatever, or the wardens will get pissed off. I mean, for example, my character Styx is like this total asshole, right? Who, basically, he's a very sadistic person, and since he has so much authority, he obviously abuses the fucking hell out of it. But his whole thing is he's basically controlling the flow of drugs throughout the pit, right? And if people aren't meeting their quota, like some of the gangs and stuff like that, who knows? They might get their drugs cut off, and what are they going to do when their buddies don't have crystal meth to get all happy with? They're probably going to kill each other, and then nobody will be happy. So it's a very dark and very hopeless kind of story, but they're like Binnsy and me are probably. No, wait. There's one other person. What's his name?
Glasgow?
No. Viking Incognito. Is that his name?
Yeah.
All right. The three of us have characters that are good, and that's about it. So like everybody else is either chaotic neutral or just straight up evil.
Well, one of my characters is he's like lawful neutral, and the other one of my characters is very lawful. He's a good character.
He's a monk.
Yeah,
he's a lawful good D&D monk.
A very modern take on a monk who's a former heroin junkie called Samuel Vanderlyn, but he doesn't tell anyone his name. Everyone just calls him Acolyte.
Well, for some reason, everybody in the pit has like weird nicknames and.
Well, with Acolyte,
titles.
it's because of his order. That's why he calls himself Acolyte, because it's what they made him call himself.
You know why Orphan's called Orphan?
He has no parents.
No, because it sounds cool.
That's the only reason he chose it.
Actually, to be a little more specific, his whole like kind of the way I imagine him is he dresses like in rags and stuff like that, like really ratty clothes. And obviously, he's considered the most dangerous man in the pit, so obviously he's good at hand-to-hand combat, among other things. And there's the Marvel character Iron Fist. There is a character in his comics from recent years named, I think his name is like Prince of Orphans or something like that. And he's a total badass, and I basically I based some stuff off of him, so I took his name too.
Now, my monk guy though is, I've explained that he's like an intensely badass martial artist because they practice combat as a form of meditation.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So he's basically undefeatable. Well, not undefeatable, but in the RP you've already seen him drop 4 guys.
Yeah.
At once. And the thing is that I actually based him off a guy I know, and the combat stuff that he can do isn't exaggerated at all.
Oh yeah. I mean, that the way it's described sounds feasible, Sounds a little more feasible than what I had Orphan do, which...
What, you mean crushed a guy's spine?
Have you guys ever played any of the Splinter Cell games?
No.
No.
He basically pulled a Sam Fisher maneuver where he... one of the things he can do, and at least it was in Chaos Theory, was if you were standing over somebody's body, you could do like a death drop where you drop on their spine and crush them. And it breaks your fall. That's basically what he did.
Fair enough. I keep wondering, Nikolai, who's that character who's like the dog or something. The
guy who I imagine as fucking Armstrong from Full Metal Alchemist.
I keep wondering what would happen if Acolyte was forced to get into a fight with the dog.
I don't know, man.
Because
there's a lot of what ifs.
yeah, it's like because you can tell that he's really strong, but I don't think he has any like education in fighting.
Yeah, he's just brute strength and stuff. Well, it's gonna be interesting to see where this goes because characters can die, right? So
Yeah,
I have a feeling.
How are you gonna handle like killing off someone's character? Because I imagine no one's gonna kill off their own character.
I don't. I think. Well, it was kind of implied in the the original post that Ninja made that characters, like pretty much anybody can die. So
Yeah, but he never really alluded as to how it worked at all.
I think it's just a story thing. So like if some characters get into a certain situation or whatever, it's just, you know, the most logical course of action plus the most compelling story way to do it. Like some kind of formula that involves those two clashing, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, my other character, for anyone listening, and Jesse and Fizz, is a Russian squad leader who he starts out just like, you know, an ordinary, like, fairly high-ranking officer within the Wardens, and then right at the start, Ninja Deathslap made it so that basically he's going to lead this, like, badass squad that's made up out of, like, some of the best soldiers in the Wardens, like, to go in and deal with all the shit that started going down.
Yeah.
So that should be fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be completely insane. I am privy to some knowledge regarding that I cannot spoil for you because I've been talking to Ninja about it.
What,
But
regarding
your character? Not
Korovich,
what's his name? Not Acolyte, the other guy.
Yeah, Luka Korovich.
Yeah. Okay. So Luka, let's just say that there's going to be something very interesting that happens by the end of this first story arc, which seems like it's gonna be pretty long. But it pretty much as far as like this isn't really spoiling anything because it's actually good to hear. Is there are no player characters that are predestined to die. Let's put it that way. There are some NPCs that we have planned to die, but I mean, who cares? They're
Yeah,
NPCs.
like I could kill off a couple of my new squad members if I wanted to,
Yeah,
because they're all NPCs.
Yeah, so, you know, so there's that. But the whole concept of the RP is there's like kind of he's got a skeleton of a plot that he's moving with in the background, and we're basically all just tiptoeing around it, essentially. So anything can really happen, you know. Like, I mean, even Styx, I don't even tell Ninja half the shit I do with Styx, and Styx is constantly, like, fucking with the entire geopolitical balance of the pit with all the shit he's doing.
Yeah, you'd think that might be a bit more regulated.
I mean, in the last post I made, he killed the leader of the Aryans and made a new leader for them and just left. He was like, "Sup, guys?"
Yeah, I read that.
He's like, "I can do this shit."
Yeah, has Ninja made any comment as to that?
No, he has not.
Fair enough.
I'm sure it's fine. I mean, everybody has been contributing to the lore of the Aryans. It's nobody's, like, pet, so I decided I'd fuck it hard.
Yeah, I think I'm, like, the only one that... Well, unless you count my squad under my Russian guy, I'm, like, the only one that isn't like, having a direct influence on some massive gang or whatever.
Yeah. That's Styx's whole shtick, right? He's kind of like... He's an evil version of, shit, what's his name from Game of Thrones? The dwarf.
Tyrion.
Tyrion, yeah. He's an evil
Yeah.
version of Tyrion Lannister.
Fair
So,
enough.
yeah.
But what I am quite interested in is that Acolyte seems to be building up a fairly Batman reputation quite quickly, just because people are like, I saw those Aryan dead bodies and I was a bald guy. Oh dear God.
Who's that bald guy? And the fucking people keep referring to my poor little Lucia as some slut or bitch or whore or whatever. And I'm like,
Well, that's
oh,
what would
no.
happen.
That's what happens when you play a female character in a horribly hostile RP.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the relationship between those two develops.
I think it's going to be my meta goal to prevent her from ever getting raped.
Well, yeah.
Let's put it that way.
I mean, like
I'm
the
going
like
to
the
do my
brother-sister
best to
relationship
avoid those
between her and,
situations.
Acolyte.
Huh?
I mean, like the relationship between her and Acolyte is quite interesting.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's because, like, for anybody listening, essentially, as far as I can tell, they're the only two characters in the RP right now that are played by different people and that are getting along.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
mind you, just because how everyone seems to perceive Acolyte, you know, like the bald dude that killed those Aryans, I can just imagine this like saying like, "Who are you? I'm the goddamn bald dude."
Fucking crazy heroin addict bald man.
Except, well, he's not a heroin addict anymore. He's got it, but but it's like he would never say that because he's nothing like Batman because he tries to be really pleasant to people. But yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But maybe we should generalize the discussion a little bit so they can.
Yeah, maybe we should move away from the RP. You guys can come back now.
Okay. I'm sorry. I was just plugging in my my Vita. It was out of.
Jesse, you around?
Yeah, I'm just finishing my game of Tetris here.
Oh, Tetris. How's that going? How many lines have you made?
I don't know, I'm just joking.
Oh.
He's just trying to offend
Jesse, you
us.
disappointed me.
I'm so mad right now.
Hey.
Well, I was playing around with my PS Vita because I was downloading something earlier, and so I just realized it was almost out of battery life, and so I had to plug it in really quick. So.
Fair enough.
I will say the one game I am playing a lot lately is Gravity Rush, and that's a fun game. I will say I was talking to Shrek-san from the Brovengers chat, and I made the comment of so far what I've seen of like the touch controls and like the gyroscope, it's actually kind of good. And then he said, yeah, it's not bad until you get the gravity slide.
I think I saw that.
And
Actually,
and I finally started doing the gravity slide last night, and I'm like, yep, he's right. This is a bunch of shit. This is terrible.
I actually feel kind of bad because I used to play a bunch of stuff with Shrek, and I haven't played anything with him in a while. I got him into League of Legends. I don't know if he's still playing, but I haven't actually.
I tried
played
League
it.
of Legends once and then deserted it.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't played in like a month or two, but he's a pretty fun guy to play games with. Just the funny thing is, most of the people on the Escapist don't play anything with each other, which is kind of bizarre if you think about it.
Yeah.
Considering it's a video game community, but you know,
It's just occurred to me that Jesse isn't the only one. Is the only one in this podcast who isn't a Bro Avenger.
Yep.
What the fuck is this?
Yeah, Jesse, you need to join.
I'm not part of really any club except for the
Wait.
the Community Cast club.
Aw, come on,
Well,
we're
you
a
should
fun
join
bunch.
because it's like, even though we've got like less than 100 members, it's like the most active group on the Escapist.
And we
I
like
don't
each
think
There's
other.
always good conversation going on in
I
there.
think
For
the
the most part.
MLP group is more active.
I think
No, it's like it fluctuates between the Bro Avengers and the MLP group. Like they swap the top spot often.
Yeah.
I think being an outside observer and just watching these various groups, once in a while people are friendly with each other. The next I read on the forums and they're like throwing hatred towards each other based on their clan membership or whatever it is they're with.
It's usually joking though.
Well,
I mean,
I only really know of 3 people who've like fallen out with the Bro Avengers. There was Matthew who got banned. There was Shadowstar who left because he made like
I don't even know
quite
who that is.
like a quite he made like a quite pretentious post and we were like joking about it and then we noticed that he'd left, which is quite recent. And then there was this guy who had a really complicated username and a really complicated real life name, so I started calling him Phil, which really annoyed him.
Aw.
That made him leave.
Yeah.
What?
I was just like
my
insisting. I was just like, dude, it's a joke. It's like a nickname. Just like, well, we have names for everyone, kind of thing. And he was like, just stop calling me that. And I was like, fucking Christ.
It's actually
I
kind of
still
funny.
had-
Is
I still
did
have
stop. To be fair.
my sister recently. I mean, she joined the site like a long time ago, but she has never really done anything on it. She's posted like, she probably has like 10 posts or something. But apparently, she told me like last week she's been lurking like an insane amount. So now I'm afraid of what I post and off topic and stuff because she might see it. I'm like, no, stop.
Yeah, I haven't really seen her posted anything. What was it, like, her and your girlfriend both befriended me, like, weeks after the expo, and I was like, oh, yeah, forgot about that.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't expect Caroline to really do anything with it, but my sister is kind of just, like, you know, unpredictable, I guess. So
Looking in the shadows.
apparently she is extraordinarily, I never knew this about her, but apparently she is very anxious. She gets terrible typing anxiety or something. Like, she has no problem expressing herself to people in person, but over the internet she like gets worried about what she's gonna say. So it took her like She posted it in some Lovecraft thread like last week or something, and it took her apparently an hour to post like one paragraph.
Oh wow.
I feel like a lot of people, like, you know, because pretty much everyone is different to how you perceive them in text and how you actually perceive them when you actually talk to them.
Yeah.
But I feel like I am relatively the same either way.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think I'm the same in person too. Because I
Yeah,
mean,
pretty much.
I think in text I come off more sarcastic than I kind of do, or more. I should say more serious
Yeah.
than I do. But if you meet me like in real life, I'm probably one of the most sarcastic people you'll ever meet. But
I think I'm more
Yeah.
obnoxious in real life.
You're more anxious.
Huh?
Did you
No,
say
no,
anxious or
I'm more
obnoxious?
obnoxious in real life.
Oh.
I'm loud, and I curse a lot. And,
Well, with me, I
you
feel
know.
like it's the same either way, just because if you ever see me in the chat or on a thread, I tend to rattle off jokes quite quickly, and I've fallen into the habit of doing that a lot in real life too. Like I was in an Xbox Live party with Daystar, so I was talking to him, and it was just sort of joke, and he just like,
yeah.
yeah.
I just realized I don't play games anybody in the Bro Avengers. I just realized
Well,
that. I feel sad.
Oh,
It
no.
only happened once, unfortunately.
I might eventually get Borderlands 2, but I don't have it for PS3, or I don't have a PS3, so
Yeah.
there's that.
Yeah. It's
Womp,
okay.
Womp, womp. Well,
I
let's
need to
put it
get
this
back
way.
to
If,
I need to get back to Borderlands 2. I haven't played that game in a long time.
So do I. I need to play it because I need to get, obviously, because I'm saving up and I don't really have that much money to spend on games. I need to get like as much out of the games that I do have as possible. So I need to do Far Cry 3. I need to do Borderlands 2. I need to do Dragon's Dogma.
I know exactly how that feels because as a kid, I was not allowed to get new games after 2001, I think. So from 2001 to roughly 2007, I got like maybe 2 or 3 new games. So
Wow.
anything
Okay,
that
that's
was
pretty extreme.
yeah, anything that was published within that time frame, I played at somebody else's house or somebody had brought to mine, and I played like the reason why I love the 16-bit era so much, I guess, is because I played those games for so fucking long.
Fair
Yeah,
Oh, man.
when I was from the time I was in elementary school to graduating college, so maybe 1998 through 2008, 2009, I just stuck to computer games, and the 3 games I always played were Age of Empires 2, Lords
yeah.
of Lords of Magic, and StarCraft with some Diablo in there. So it's just I stuck with the same games for so long.
One thing that I've recently discovered, and I will take advantage of at some point, is that you can get Chrono Trigger on an iPod.
That is so fucking weird.
That is weird for me.
That is so
I have to
weird.
get this because Chrono Trigger, it sounds like an amazing game.
My-
I
my-
couldn't do that. I own the original cartridge, and I'd feel like wrong if I was playing it on an iPod.
Yeah, it would feel way too weird.
Last week,
Fair
my
enough.
friend gave me let me borrow his it's a 2-piece console. The first half is like Super NES, the second half can play Genesis games. But he gave me this
Oh, yeah.
this console, and then he gave me to play with it Chrono Trigger, Secrets of Mana, Link to the Past, and Star Fox. And I'm really afraid to plug this in because I don't know when I'll ever stop playing any of those games.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
What you need
actually,
to do is just sort of like take a, well, I don't know what your opportunity for holiday is, but just like take a long week or something and just binge it.
I actually own one of those. Like, they have a lot of those consoles that kind of just dock everything together, and a lot of them are really shitty because I don't know, yours might be better, but a lot of them they basically emulate the original hardware, right? So some games don't translate perfectly, like the sound will be off or there will be weird visual stuff going on.
Oh
And a lot of those-
yeah, I heard about that.
A lot of those consoles have a problem also emulating particular Super Nintendo games that utilize like the special chip, like I think the original Star Fox and Donkey Kong Country and Mario RPG and some of those games.
And
they'll, like,
what was
look
the
really
other one? A
fucked
friend
up,
of mine
or
had
they
one of
won't
those,
work.
and he couldn't play Super Mario All Stars. He couldn't play it.
Which
You
is like
just
the
wouldn't
most
read it.
standard Super Nintendo game you can possibly even hope to play in the first place.
I know.
I played the shit. I think I played Super Mario World / All-Stars more than I played the NES versions of those
Oh,
titles.
me too. I loved All Stars. That was my favorite. I
That
played
probably-
that game. I played that game a lot. I think I almost wore down the cartridge. I played it so much.
I think if
Super
you
Mario
could-
World's definitely my favourite Mario game of all time.
I would say it's a tie between that and Mario 64 for me.
Yeah, because on my
But I like all of them.
my Wii's Virtual Console, I have Super Mario World and I have Super Mario Bros. 3, Super Mario Bros. 3, and I showed my sister's boyfriend Super Mario Bros. 3 because he like played it loads when he was a kid, and so he comes into this living room. We turn on Super Mario Bros. 3. The whole Wii like freezes up and stops, and his first like reaction is, "Oh my god, it even freezes up like the original!" like an expression
Blow
of
on
joy.
Blow on it. Yeah,
A friend of mine tried to get me to buy a Wii because of the Virtual Console. And he said, "Yeah, you can get all the original Mario games." And I said, "Well, why? Because I have an NES, and I know where to get a SNES, and I have the original Mario games. Why would I want to do that?"
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, if you were going to own any single Super Nintendo cartridge for the most play value, it would be the Super Mario World / All-Stars cartridge, which apparently
Yeah.
that one is a bit, or actually a lot harder to find than the normal Super Mario All-Stars.
Yeah, that game
For some
that
reason.
is really hard to find.
I think
think I
I
saw
think
it
it
in the
was
store once.
exclusive to it came bundled with Super Nintendos, and
Yeah.
I don't think they sold it separately or something like that.
I don't think they sold them separately either, but I remember I saw one at like a pawn shop. I almost bought it, but the cartridge looked really questionable.
Yeah.
It looked really dodgy. I'm looking at that going, I don't know if I should buy that. That just looks
How much
broken.
was it?
What's that?
How much was it?
Oh, it was like $20.
I'd
But-
buy it if it was in good condition.
No,
Yeah.
it was in terrible condition. And
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it played fine, but just looking at like the plastic, it looked like someone chewed on the end of one part. And
Oh God.
so I was
Like
like,
a
I
dog
don't
or
know.
something. Well, the speaking of 16-bit Mario games, one of my favorite games growing up was always Mario Paint. I don't know if anybody else.
Oh
here
my
has
god,
ever
yes,
even
Mario
touched that.
Paint.
Okay, so
Oh my
there's this
god.
guy on YouTube who, well, there are a lot of people on YouTube who make songs with Mario Paint, but most of the people who do it use like an emulator, and they can like do a bunch of stuff you couldn't do with the original. But there's this one guy on there who actually uses the original cartridge and everything and records it that way, and it's like totally legit and awesome. But that's besides the point. You know, Thy Name Is Mud on the Escapist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have him on Facebook, and he linked the other day a Mario Paint version of Raining Blood by Slayer.
Whoa.
And it was fucking hilarious. The guitar solo was like made out of Yoshi sound effects. Oh man, it was awesome.
I love how like we're developing like an increasing web of people from the Escapists in our Facebook profiles, because I think so far
I know, right?
I've got you two and Watson, and I need to add more people.
I think I have
Yeah,
Blunder.
I have Blunder, yeah.
I think I might have Devious on there, and I have Nazarene and Thy Name Is Mud. Some other people, I think, maybe.
Yeah, I need to add more people.
Actually, the funny thing is I have like a normal American young person. I have like 100 or 200 people on Facebook. I'd say that's probably average. And for some reason, out of all those people, I think Nazarene actually comes up on my feed like she's one of the most common people on my feed for some reason. I always see like pictures of cats and stuff. Seeing fucking Boba. Is it weird that I know her cat's name? I don't think it is.
Nah.
No, she's talked about her cat before, so.
I wonder if she'd find it strange if I added her.
She'd be like, "Who's this guy?"
Well, she was on the Failcast, to be fair.
Yeah, that's true. She was on the Skyrim cast, which was
Oh,
way
yeah.
longer than it was supposed to be.
Yeah, I need to listen to that.
Oh, good luck. It's long.
It's really long. It's pretty funny though.
Yeah.
if I
Oh,
say so
yeah. I
myself.
added, I don't know if you heard it yet, Fappy, but I added a bit at the end, after the music. Your guys' redoing of the countdown.
I I don't think I think I only listened to the first 3/4 of it, and something came up, and I never got to finish it. I was gonna finish listening to it when we reposted everything.
Speaking of that, I need to re-upload all the old Failcast episodes to the
To the YouTube.
Not to the Escapist, to the to our new YouTube account.
Okay. Yeah, you definitely need to do that.
I'm just like putting it off because it's gonna be really time-consuming waiting out all the upload times.
Yeah, and we're still trying to get. We're waiting on a basically. I guess the best way to say or to explain it is we're rebranding, quote unquote, air quotes, the Communicast, like just the way the videos look. We kind of want a sleek look like the Failcast does.
We are the standard you hope to achieve.
I know. The thing that has fail in the name.
I feel like it's quite ironic that we're the Failcast and yet we have the higher professional standard.
I'm gonna kill you.
We have a
heard it here
and a
first,
cooler
folks.
logo.
Fappy's gonna murder Binsy. It's gonna be on the front page. It's gonna be a community spotlight. They're gonna ask me how I felt when I saw your final breath and looked into your eyes.
So it's just gonna be like there'll be like a headline like Englishman killed by American cat fornicator.
Well, for the longest time I had or not the longest time, it was for like a month. My forum title was Daedric Prince of Pussy.
Yeah.
And I think that was a really good way of explaining exactly who I was on the forum.
I'm actually amazed that like no one raised any questions as to that.
Yeah, I was really surprised no one like,
Nobody really said
questioned
anything
or
about it. I wondered if anybody even noticed it.
I did, like every time I saw it for the first few weeks I was like, aha!
Yeah, I've gotten in the habit of changing the title all the time because it's just fun to change it for some reason.
Yeah, I very rarely change mine, but I've kept the bro theme.
Yeah.
Like when I had Roland Deschain avatars, my thing was Broland Deschain the Gunslinger. And currently, because I'm doing a Dead Man Wonderland thing, I've got Dead Bro Crow.
I think you and Daystar are the only two who have like stuck to that.
No, he hasn't anymore. I need to
Yeah, he
probably stop
dropped
doing
it.
that.
Oh, he dropped it. What a piece of shit.
I know.
I can't believe him. He's a traitor.
Indeed, he is.
I
never even
haven't
did
changed my title yet. I've been thinking about it.
Is yours still Sound Goblin?
Yep.
You should keep that.
Yeah.
I bestowed that nickname, and I don't want you to throw it away in a blasé fashion.
Blasé.
Fair enough.
Indeed.
So blasé.
Anyway, murder jokes aside, I actually can't wait to see you at the expo.
I might actually see Fizz sometime before then because
Yes. I'm excited.
I have my job is requiring me to do a lot of, well, not a lot, but a moderate amount of traveling for the next like 3 or 4 months, and by that I mean maybe 2 business trips and hopefully no more than that. But at some point between the end of February and mid-April, I might be going to Scottsdale, so I will definitely have time because after work I think I'll be there for like 3 or 4 days. And
Are you gonna stay at Fizz's?
No,
No.
they'll have like a hotel and stuff for me, but you know, business expenses and all that stuff. But I will have nothing to do at night, so you know, I'll probably want to see like the city and stuff like that.
So what? You'll just watch Fizz sleep?
Oh yeah, exactly. I'm
Actually, you know what? End of February, and when was the other one? April? Beginning of April?
It's sometime between the end of February and April because I'm going to Rockville, Maryland, on the 19th of this month. So it'll be potentially sometime after I get back from that, probably.
Okay, because I was gonna say that's like the perfect time to come. It's like the perfect time to come to my state because it's not like stupid cold. Like when it gets cold here, it's like dry cold, and it's not like retardedly hot. So it's like perfect.
Well, I have really dry skin, so I'm gonna need to bring some kind of like moisturizer or something because it's bad enough here, and I imagine it's way drier in Arizona.
It's constantly dry here. I mean, even when it rains, the ground doesn't stay wet for very long. I mean, I've seen rainstorms that'll last for 10 minutes, and you'll go outside and it doesn't even look like it rained. It's ridiculous.
Really? Oh. I actually haven't been to Arizona since I was like 6 or 7 years old, so I don't really remember anything at all from it.
My my parents moved to Arizona, and I choose March to go because it's one of the only months where it's not too hot for me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, March
Yeah, well,
March is
that-
great. The only time you don't ever want to come here is like July, August.
I'm going to come there with a challenge.
Go
Huh?
for it. It's fucking hot.
I just love that you guys are above 30 right now.
I know. I don't even know how cold is it. It is at the moment 67 degrees.
Wow.
Let's see. It is 54 degrees in Atlanta right now. Which
I'm
it
not
actually
going to
wasn't
check
that bad
because
yesterday.
even if I did, I'd be using Celsius, and that would be foreign to you people.
Let's see. It's 12 Celsius.
We've been lucky to have 30 here in Laramie. Because the last few weeks we've had just negatives.
Oh, is it snowy still there?
It stopped snowing here. It's snowing in other parts of the state. But the wind chill and everything has kept it down to the negatives for a few weeks.
Ugh.
Well, the southeast just got pounded to bloody hell by storms the last couple days. So I think we had snow in North Georgia a couple days ago. We had a tornado rip right through the interstate about 2 or 3 days ago.
Oh, that's right. I heard
Died.
about that.
Oh man, I think Tennessee got like massacred.
I think they did,
But
yeah.
We had tornado sirens and everything. I was working at home that day, so I just went in the basement and continued working in the basement.
Right, well, we are...
Well,
20 minutes past the
Binsy,
amount of time I need.
one thing you should totally do if you come in July here, and I'm not making this up, is you go outside and you take an egg and you fry an egg on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
You can totally
I'll
do
definitely
that.
try
My
I
mom,
will,
my mom
do
said
that.
she cooked a chicken on the hood of her car once.
I
which
can
don't
believe
even-
that.
I don't know how that's possible, but I believe her.
Fizz, if I ever do come to Arizona, do you want me to bring you some iron brew?
Yes, because I have no idea what the hell that is, and it sounds awesome from what you and the others were saying.
Wait, was it not you who went to Scotland?
No, that was Carbonell.
Yeah, we got Carbonell to try iron brew, and she says it tastes like if bubblegum was a soda.
Are you gonna smuggle it into the States?
It's not an alcoholic drink. I can just pack it.
Okay, okay.
Strange Americans in your TSA.
I know, right? Bunch
I'm
of.
gonna have an awkward confrontation with them. I can tell already.
They are rather lazy, though.
You're not brown enough to have a confrontation with.
I should just black up just to see what happens.
I have to say,
I would not suggest going to the airport in blackface.
oh,
Especially go to the
and
Atlanta
then
airport.
walk into Detroit without taking a shower and see if I get stabbed.
Oh god.
I have to say though, my job is I handle international students, and so I have to help them with their visas and make sure they have the right paperwork.
Okay.
Oh, good, you can help me.
And yeah, the stories I get are quite well. You're simple.
An asteroid about half the
What is
size
going
of a
on?
football field
Whoa.
What?
flies past Earth
What
on
was that?
February 15th. It'll be about 7
Where is
What
this
is that?
report coming from?
Is there an asteroid?
Okay, are we all gonna die because of like some asteroid collision? Because that's what it sounded like.
The
That's what I heard.
there was a thread in Off Topic a couple days ago about the shooting that happened in Atlanta, and people were freaking out. It was another gun massacre and stuff like that. And I'm like, I was sitting there. I'm like, am I the only? Yeah, I'm the only one, right? Am I the only one who realizes that it says South Atlanta and this is normal? Why is there a thread about this?
I was like the first person to comment on that thread, and I was like, you know, the reason why it's happening is because of all the fucking coverage, and I got a bunch of quotes that were like, oh yeah, so we should just cover it up, you're a fucking horrible person. I was like,
Well, I know exactly who was saying that, and that guy is a total prick.
what, the guy that
He's-
quoted me?
One of the guys who quoted you. I don't know how many people quoted you, but there's this one guy that we all know, and I won't name here, that, well, he's pretty much one of the only active users right now that I just can't stand at all.
All the ones that I dislike have been banned.
Yeah. Same here. He's the only one who hasn't been, but he's one step away from it.
You know what annoyed me when Regnus wasn't banned is that he has a Calvin and Hobbes avatar.
Oh, yeah.
And I love Calvin and Hobbes. And so I would just associate that avatar, like, you know, Calvin and Hobbes, with the creepy shit he was coming out with, like, from his life.
He
Have
had
you
the
ever
best
seen anything?
threads, though. Like, when they got really good, he had the best ones.
No, but I mean, like, have you seen, like, what, have you heard him talk about his sister?
No, I've seen the threads where he talked about his sister. It's freaking
It's-
creepy, but, like, I don't know, he has like this talent of going into like a serious thread that's not gonna go end well, and he would just go in and just say the most random shit, and it would just be beautiful.
Yeah, but I know that some of what he does is trolling, but the thing is, I don't think, like, his life anecdotes, I don't think they were.
No, I don't think so either.
They're just trolling attempts.
Didn't he also link something from another website that he did? Or someone did, and...
I don't know.
I can't remember. It was something, and it was him just completely derailing something, and it was hilarious.
Fair enough. I remember my friend on a different forum once went into a Superman versus Goku thread, and he said the only way that Goku could defeat Superman is if he grabbed his balls and wished for kryptonite. And it just stopped the thread completely. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm on the Goku side of things, but that was brilliant.
Did you watch the what was it? The game trailers video thing about the matchup that came out recently?
Oh, I need to watch the final thing of that. I've watched all the run-up videos they did for it. You mean the thing on
Okay.
Screw Attack?
Yeah. Oh, it was Screw Attack. That's who it was. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was they just do those versus battles, and this is the one that they've done multiple videos for. I need to watch the final one from that if it's been released.
Yeah, it's
Don't
like
ruin-
30 minutes
don't ruin
long
it
or
for me.
something. They do like a scientific breakdown. It's really
Yeah, I love
funny.
how they do that.
Well, this one was way more in depth than the other ones they've done. The other ones they've done have been like skimming the surface. This one goes into like math.
I liked how Vegeta defeated Shadow the Hedgehog.
Wait, that was even like a thing. Like they actually well, some of the matchups were dumb because it was so obvious he was going to come out on top.
But like Pikachu versus that wrestler guy.
Well, there was Thor versus Raiden, and you're like, yeah, the conversation ends there when you realize that Mjolnir was forged out of a neutron star. I don't think you need to say anything else.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, and also Thor is immune to lightning.
Raiden's only attack.
Raiden's go-to attack.
Well, see, that was the thing, was that there was Pikachu versus this, like, a barbarian wrestler that could, like, electrocute people. And it was like...
Are you talking about Blanca?
Blanca?
Yeah, Blanca, and it's like, you know, the chlorophyll in his skin meant that he could, like, electricity barely did anything to him or something.
So,
and I was like, well, that's fucked, isn't
so
it? And he's
Pikachu
like 3
couldn't hurt
times
him?
Pikachu's size. It literally just ended with him eating Pikachu.
Oh man, they did they did some really weird ones. They did like Tau Kaka versus Felicia, which I don't. Those are kind of vague characters actually. Tau Kaka's from Blaze Blue and Felicia's from Darkstalkers, which is a Capcom fighter.
If I could see one, it would be an obscure character versus an incredibly well-known one. Is that Senji Kiyomasa, who is the guy in my avatar, versus Roronoa Zoro from One Piece.
I can't stand One Piece. I actually
I
don't
love
like
One
most
Piece.
shonens at all, except for Dragon Ball Z. Because
Well,
there's
in any
nostalgia
case, I'll
there.
watch this Superman vs. Goku thing after we're done with this. Speaking of podcasts, this has gone on longer than I expected it to.
Aw.
Aww.
So is
We
it
can
time
keep
to
going
wrap
if you
up?
want, but it's
Well,
probably
that
time
don't
to wrap
be.
up.
Yeah, Fizz is the one who has to edit it. It's up to her.
Yeah.
I don't really mind as long as it's not 2 hours.
Well, we can still keep talking once we stop recording and everything.
Oh,
Which
but
is
then
certainly
people, if we said something brilliant and clever, the people wouldn't hear it.
Well,
And then when we told them it happened,
I'm
they
sure
wouldn't
that we're
believe us.
putting out interesting content on a consistent enough basis that they will come back.
If you record it, they will
Yeah,
come.
because we're getting not a large flow of subscribers, but certainly a steady one.
Yeah, I mean, it's the stuff is made by the people for the people, right? So I'd
By
hope
the
that
way,
they'd
if you
listen
want
to
to
it.
be on the Failcast or the Communicast, go to the Communicast / Failcast group or contact me at Binnsyboy@live.com. I do
Yes.
accept nudes.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is there anything in particular you fancy the most?
What you mean in terms of nudes?
Yes, in terms of nudes.
I'm not picky.
Yeah, you heard it here. Even even if you're wasting away like a skeleton on crack cocaine, Binsy will beat off to you.
Yeah, I think you you killed it.
That's what I did.
Oh my. Well, that's one of the Yeah, see, I'm glad we recorded that at least.
I have to say at least one sexually offensive thing per
Yeah.
cast. Yeah.
Well, your username is Fappy, and your fake name on your Skype profile is Fappy Fappington, so yeah. Was that born of the fact that I keep calling you Fappington?
Fappington. Good day, Fappington.
Like, I just started doing that independently. Did that cause you to give that as your Skype name?
No, I've been called Fappington for ages. Fappy was my main like WoW character's name years and years ago, and one of my roommates used to call me like a ton of different versions and variations of Fappy. One of my most favorite was from one of my old guildmates. He's like the only guy I played WoW with that I still keep in contact with on like Facebook and stuff. He used to call me Fapcopter. I love that one a lot. That was awesome. But yeah, there's that insignificant story for you.
Fair enough. And